Seth Jones returns to the lineup. We get some fresh faces, some NHL debuts made as the Panthers took on the Canucks last night. What's up, Florida Panthers Daily? I'm Andrew Sheridan back here with you on Wednesday, a Hope Day, March 18th. We're getting close to my mom's birthday. We'll get to that shout out when we do get to that day, but we are also in the midst of March Madness, the World Baseball Classic last night. There is so much going on in sports right now. Hockey's right in the middle of it. Basketball's right in the middle of it. We come to you every single day, Monday through Friday, right here on Florida Panthers Daily, part of the Fan Arch community, to break it all down with you. Break down everything Florida Panthers, from people going on the long-term IR, we'll get to there, to debuts made. The only difference today is usually the day after a game I come right in here and I'm giving you instant reaction. The team didn't do this well. The team did this well. The goaltending wasn't there. Power play wasn't there. Today I'm unable to do that. You can tell I am still sick. The allergies are getting to me. And well, a 10 o'clock start for us here on the East Coast. It's hard on a Tuesday to stay up here on a Wednesday late into the night. So I am recording this as the Panthers just dropped the puck in Vancouver, because I do have a big day at work and have to get there. When we play the Oilers, I will do my best to stay. I will stay up and record an instant reaction to that. But let's be honest here. When the Panthers are playing the Canucks, two teams that are just, well, not going to be in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year, it's a game where I got to make sure that I get my 9 to 5 down and make sure we're locked in there, but still bring you Panther content, because there is a lot to talk about here as the game is just getting ready to start. There still was a lot to talk about yesterday. It's funny, on the West Coast, usually all my news, I'll try and do all my research and everything and kind of have the pod ready to go maybe around 2 o'clock. Of course, then if there's a game, wait for the game to go. But with the Panthers being on the West Coast, I'm like, where's all my news? I'm like, well, we're on the West Coast. I guess I have to wait. But for the first time since the Winter Classic on January 2nd, Seth Jones, Jonesy, back in the Florida Panthers lineup. A big body back on the blue line for the Cats. Without him, 12 and 14 for the Florida Panthers. And you kind of saw after that Winter Classic that that is where the season started to really spiral out of control for the Florida Panthers. He missed 26 games after his collarbone injury in the first period of that Winter Classic game. Before his injury, he obviously was a big part of the Stanley Cup last year. He ranked first in defensemen in goals, assists, and points. He was the quarterback of the power play unit, and he had over 23 minutes on the ice per game. So good to have Seth Jones back. He does touch all areas, as Paul Maurice said. That was his quote. He's a power play guy, a penalty kill guy. He plays against the other team's best. He's as good of a defender as he is an offensive player. I think he's got a really good sense of when to jump and when to make things happen. That's what Sergei Bobrovsky. Sergei Bobrovsky's in net last night against the Florida Panthers. That's what Coach Paul Maurice said about Seth Jones in his return last night. He was paired up last night with Dmitry Kulikov against the Canucks, and then another shuffling lineup for the Florida Panthers, because what else is new in this 2026 season? Nico Mikkola came out of the lineup last night for the Florida Panthers. Some more changes. Fute made his Florida Panthers debut. Sam Bennett was also back in the lineup, hopefully helping out the buddies. I hope he got a goal last night. Obviously, I do not know. Evan Rodriguez and Luce Sheridan were out. So it's just a rotating door for the Florida Panthers, as it has been what feels like this entire season. But the reason my name I went from Coach Sergei Bobrovsky when I met Coach Paul Maurice, was because last night was a big milestone in the Hall of Fame career of two-time Stanley Cup and Florida Panther legend Sergei Bobrovsky. It was his 800th career game in between the pipes in the blue ice as a starting goaltender in the National Hockey League. Pretty impressive stuff from Sergei Bobrovsky. Now let's focus a little bit on, I mentioned Fute making his Florida Panther debut. Well, Coach Maurice did talk about that for the Florida Panthers before the game yesterday, and he said before practice he was catching him up to speed a little bit. And it's funny, he's going against his dad. He played against his dad last night, who also coaches for the Vancouver Canucks. So crazy day to kind of make his Florida Panthers debut. He was wearing 25 at the morning skate yesterday, and also wore that. Sorry, you could tell it is really hitting me here. That's why I didn't stay up for the end of the game last night. He said before the game, Fute it is. It's obviously exciting. It's been almost a year since I've played the last in the NHL. It's really exciting. I've watched them play all year. I've had a good year in Charlotte, so it's going to be good. And, well, I hope it was. And then, Coach, one last thing on Sergei Bobrovsky. He must have an incredible passion for the game, a love for the game, to put those hours in every day. It's a big place in his life. It's a big piece in his life. What he eats, what he sleeps, all of those things it takes to be great. That is what Coach had to say about Bobrovsky making his 800th career start in net. Good on Sergei Bobrovsky. And then the lines last night for the Florida Panthers, again, that shuffling lineup. Verhaeghe, Bennett, Tkachuk, Ward, the top line. You had Boquist, Lundell, Samoskevich on the second line. A.J. Greer, who the Panthers continue to try and work on an extension with. Tom Sosik, Sam Reinhart, Fute, Cunnin, and Hinostroa on that fourth line. The knee pairs, Gustav Forsling, Aaron Ekblad, number 1. Kulikov and Seth Jones in his return, number 2. In Benning and Sabringo on number 3. And again, of course, Bob was in net. And of course, for Seth Jones to come back, you knew there had to be a little bit of salary cap, let's say, I don't want to use the word roulette, salary cap movement done. And we saw that in terms of Brad Marchand moving to the long-term IR yesterday. So a lot of moving parts going on with the Florida Panthers right now. People coming up, people coming down, in and out of the lineup as it has been all year. Where last night the World Baseball Classic also happened. Did you see the jerseys that Team USA Baseball pulled up in before their game, their championship game versus Venezuela? They pulled up in game-worn Team USA jerseys from the gold medal match. Bryce Harper, a key part of that Team USA team, was wearing Matthew Tkachuk's game-worn gold medal jersey. How cool was that? You can see the energy from these two teams, what it means to represent a country, what it means to kind of wear pride for America on your jersey rather than just a franchise, rather than just a team that you've maybe played for your entire career. No, you're playing for something bigger than you. You're playing for your entire country. To see the two teams parallel, I thought was amazing. And if you're new to the channel, now that we're in March, I want to do a little March Madness segment every single show. Yesterday, I did players on the Florida Panthers. Today, I'm going to do all-time jerseys for the Florida Panthers. I have 4, and I do a little final 4, and I want you to let me know in the comments if you would have done it the same way. I'm going with the retro reverse from a few years ago, whereas the Panther biting the stick, a throwback uni, was my number 1 seed. My number 2 seed were these light blue, baby blue jerseys, were my number 2 seed. You have the original home reds, were my number 3 seed. And then you have the whites as the number 4 seed, kind of just how I did it. And, of course, I did have my 1 and 2 make it to the championship. I didn't go with any upsets like I did yesterday. And my best jersey of all time in my jersey bracket that I did create were the retro reverses. My baby blues were my golden winner for the Florida Panthers. So, as you can tell, I'm really struggling here. I am not feeling that great. So, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up real quick with just a quick standings look at what we have in the Eastern Conference right now. Boston and Montreal played last night in a big game in the wild card. Boston holds that last spot in the wild card right now, going into last night with 81 points. Montreal went into last night with 82 points. So the winner of that will hold the last spot in the Atlantic Division, and the loser of that will hold the last spot in the wild card. And that is because Columbus in Carolina is 3-1 right now as I'm recording this. Columbus, if they win, will be tied if Boston loses for that last wild card spot. And then the Islanders, Toronto, not much going on there. But it is a fun finish down the stretch here in the Eastern Conference. Like I mentioned, Panthers will be taking on the Edmonton Oilers as their next game. I will stay up and give a rapid reaction to that. Just wasn't able to do it last night. I had to record before that game just with a lot of stuff going on. But Friday, I will have an instant reaction for you after the Stanley Cup rematch. And then Friday, we'll also have a game preview for you as the Panthers wrap up the West Coast road swing in Calgary Friday night. Both of those games set for a 9 p.m. puck drop. Until tomorrow, Florida Panthers Daily, I'll break down that Vancouver Canucks game for you tomorrow once I am able to watch the game. Until then, Florida Panthers Daily, subscribe down below. My social medias, I'm powering through them for you right now. You can hear it in my voice. My social medias are AJ Sheridan Radio. Subscribe down below. We'll be back tomorrow. Let's go, Cats.